You get up, right?
Not quite.
Deadlock.
See, bitch!
He's got deadlock, by the way, is one of his air tricks.
We out this motherfucker. Hey, what it do, what it do? It's ya boy Q. And if you haven't heard, we've got another Circle of Healing nerf coming in, and I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Well, that's a lie. I know that it's not going to be enough, but before we talk about it, I want to thank everyone who's been passing along some feedback here from our blood point grinding build that we posted just before vacation. If you're back here from that video, or you just really like this video, it really means a lot to me if you hit that subscribe button. We're pushing for 500 subscribers over here on the YouTube, where we talk everything Dead by Daylight, from comp DBD gameplay to builds and guides to conversational videos just like this. And if you do like the video, it really means a lot if you can go ahead and leave a like and a comment. That's going to help us out with that good old YouTube algorithm, get our content in front of more people. All right, well, let's go ahead and get down to business. Let's talk about boons, baby.
Boom, baby!
Because while I do believe they do need to be addressed, this most recent change just misses the mark. While anyone with a brain would agree that Circle of Healing is the most used perk and brings the most consistent value of the lot, I don't think it's really the healing speed as much as the fact that it is also applies to the self-healing percent, making it vastly faster than the self-heal perk itself, right? But even with the change in healing speed, comparatively, it's not that big of a shift, which kind of makes me wonder why behavior thought that that was going to be what made the change really worth it, right? And it also allows anyone in the radius to have that ability, whereas self-heal really only gives one person the ability to heal themselves, right? At a speed that is actually rather punishing if you think about it. It's 40 seconds. Now, this is exponentially stronger. No, not that exponential. Although, that's a pretty strong case as far as a boon totem as well, especially with a team that can coordinate pressure to get people off of the ground. And sure, a hex totem has the ability to put a lot of pressure on the survivors, more so than boons typically do, for as far as what they put on the killer. But once a hex totem is cleansed, it's gone. Whereas a killer snuffs a boon and a survivor can come right behind them and re-bless the totem. And sure, it's time that survivor is not on a generator, but again, we're talking about one of the most used boons, giving the entire team a self-heal area. You can create a constant back and forth with the killer, which allows your other survivors to get to work on gens. Otherwise, as the killer, you're forced to allow the boon to be a threat during the trial to get unlimited use and value. But y'all know how we do over on this channel. We don't want to be one of those content creators that just sits around and says, fix your game, devs, without suggesting any resolve. No shade, by the way. Kind of. But now a couple of weeks back, I posted the question, if you could fix boon totems without replacing them, how would you do it? Because let's be honest, the best part of DBD is the strategy, the mind games, the back and forth between killers and survivors until one side emerges victorious, whether it be over the course of a single chase or an entire trial. But right now with boons, the survivors are pretty well in control of the back and forth. We saw multiple people bringing up the point that survivors can just run around booning totems at free will, and I must say, I don't hate the idea of not allowing a survivor to switch totems that are blessed until the current boon is snuffed, because this would allow killers to leave a boon up in a dead zone after the objectives have already been complete. It would at least be something. And I definitely agree that we need some way to restrict the amount of uses, but I'm not quite sure I'm okay with limiting it to a low number like 2. Maybe that's just the entitled survivor in me, but I did see a lot of people also mention the thoughts of earning more tokens to boon maybe a particular totem again by breaking other totems, which causes more thoughts and strategy, which is another idea that I think is pretty cool if we're being perfectly honest. Although, admittedly, as somebody who knows absolutely nothing about coding, I don't know how hard that would be to implement, and I always try and take that into consideration, right? Of course, cooldowns on the perk itself or even on rebooting a particular totem after it's been snuffed always seems to get brought up whenever this topic comes around. And while some of the previously mentioned ideas I do think have some impact in a positive way towards the boons discussion, I think when you see a common idea getting brought up consistently, such as allowing killers to break the totem itself, I think that's probably one of the most fair and honest conversations that we can have about the perk. I mean, boons are like killer hex totems, right? They allow for a shift in the overall pressure one side is able to put onto the other as long as it's lit. And right now, the killer does have the ability to snuff an active boon totem with a very quick animation and quickly get back to working on their objective, like hooking survivors. But what if we gave killers the ability to completely break totems, like survivors can a hex? Because if they break the boon totem, that totem at the end of the game can no longer be Noed too, right? So now, boons can truly counter Noed, because you force a killer into the decision, do I take an extra time to break the totem, potentially allowing a survivor to build distance or at least work on the objective? And I think like all boon totem runners would gladly trade totems getting broken, meaning that there's no ability to relight said boon for a lack of Noed at the end of the trial. But if we are going to make a separate break animation over the snuff animation, there has to be a significant difference to force a decision for the killer. I think we have to keep in mind that time is more valuable for the team with one killer than the side with 4 survivors, especially if like a killer's in chase and sees a boon totem that they want to get rid of. They should be forced to make the decision of snuffing the totem and being able to maintain chase, or breaking the totem and allowing whoever they are in chase with to get to safety, in exchange for never having to worry about that boon totem location again. So the question is, what does that time look like, right? Well, if you've ever been through our channel over on Twitch, you know that we love to do some boom boom shenanigans with the blast mine. And when I think about how long it takes for a killer to damage a generator that has a blast mine on it, I feel like that'd be right about on the money. You figure right around 6-7 seconds makes it so even a blight shouldn't be able to quickly get back into chase with a survivor they broke chase with in order to cleanse their totem. I really think if you look at the state of the game, especially with MMR and the fact that boom totems seem to be so prevalent in like the average game, I really think that the mechanic of boons needs to be addressed. And I'd love to get your thoughts on some of the recommendations, or maybe you have your own suggestions on how we could like fix boons without actually removing boons. So feel free to leave a like and a comment below. That's also going to help us out with that good old YouTube algorithm, get our content in front of more people. And we're chasing down 500 subs over here on the YouTube. So tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody about it. All right. And don't forget to turn those notifications on after subscribing. By the way, have y'all noticed that like this video, it hasn't changed for a while now, right? And there's no way that you can tell me that a single survivor perk should be this strong. And that's even coming from a filthy entitled survivor main like your boy. But that's going to be it as far as boons. As always, the link for the Twitch and the Discord down in the description below. Come kick us sometime, yeah? Until we catch y'all back over here on the YouTube, don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love harder. It's your boy Q, signing out.
If you ain't show something, you just don't wanna be me, but you will